can't remember when or where I was when I first discovered the Nekopara series, but I'm happy to see it continue and at least evolve after all these years. Many things have changed since La Suelle first opened its doors and two homeless catgirls encouraged our protagonist, and perhaps even the fandom, to rise above all obstacles that stand before them, utilizing their God-given skills to reach their goals. Through that premise, we saw other catgirls join the crew, each filling a specific role that our lead lacks, but incredibly, the focus on friendship and overcoming hardships is always as endearing as ever. However, the bigger question is, who would have guessed that over 10 years later, we're just barely getting the little sister route? Come on! In this same time, other series have come and gone, desperate to gain a fandom as big as this, and then giving into the pressure with throwaway sister routes that never pay off. However, for us Nekopara heads out there, the wait is over. And you know what? Yeah, it was worth it. But corners were cut on quantity.
いらっしゃいませ。ソレイユへようこそ。おいおいカショ、フランスのソレイユで働いてたからっていきなり店に出して役に立つのかよ。
First off, while Nekopara After was initially intended to be a fandisc to Nekopara 4 before it became a standalone release, I do feel that it has sufficient agencies to be this based on what is presented in it. There's only about 2 or 3 story routes that are fully explored, but given that it takes place 2 years after the events of 4, I do find it was the right choice to make it its own title. Furthermore, this story does actually spend some time on some past exposition as Bennett visits Cachot's bakery to inform him that she's retired and he will now have to watch over Freys. This is where the premise kind of disconnects from Cachot and actually focuses on Shigure, his younger sister. If this were a fandisc, I guess it was meant to be from the perspective of Shigure because we get a lot of her and Freys becoming closer and more scenes than Cachot actually. This is all for good reason in terms of the premise. The idea of being a catpanion requires a little more nuance than maybe was let on before. And this is in the plot because Freys and Cachot aren't really clicking in the way that he did with the other catgirls. It's then based on Shigure's and Freys' relationship that we actually find out why this is, and they work together to solve the problem. Trust that it isn't that deep and really just ties into the side quest of obtaining the sister route. Okay, hold on one second. I'm actually going to be clear here. I'm supportive of sister routes because of their insanity, but I understand the implications of appreciating a sister route and then tying that into the player's actual life, but I assure you, I'm just a baka boy playing baka games for the irony of it all. And I should also point out that Nekoworks stands on business, and Shigure isn't an android or adopted, which definitely adds to the will they, won't they tension, but they do. A few times, for the plot. The story as a whole explores some emotionally charged territory. Still, if the developers were trying to treat this as a send-off to their longtime fans, I think they missed an opportunity to include a prologue. I went through the game several times to research this actually, but there isn't anything extra following the credits. This is actually where the criticisms of being a fandisc turned full release come into play. The game is incredibly short, with only a few locations outside of the bakery and not enough interactions with the alumni cast. Most of the story focuses on the idea of how catpanionship works and the magic required to really understand it. Still, there's something to say about the quality of the performance overall and the flow of the narrative. I can't say I was ever bored or felt the pacing was off. Every scene had something charming to smirk at or introduce some emotional story element on the crew's next move. The animated character illustrations are a huge plus as they add an extra layer of entertainment to the scenes, and there's even some really well done comedic timing to some of the scenarios. I do believe in the case of this Nekopara After release, the compact nature of the story means that there are very few distractions from improving your cat harem. This also means that there aren't many over-the-top skits between the other characters just for the hell of it. During the game, if you've downloaded the adult-free patch, you'll be asked if anyone is around you before the scene gets steamy. What's interesting is that the All Ages version has exclusive CGs to the All Ages routes that you can unlock by choosing that others are around you. It's a nice system, and I like that they gave attention to the All Ages version, that I do believe this series has fans who don't play for the H scenes. I know it's surprising, but I salute them for the ability to resist the charm of these feline baddies as well. All this to say, I think they did right by the fans in terms of quality for this release, but I really hope this isn't the end because I think there needs to be a better send-off for this title. I mean, respect for the sister route, hold off, but time warp me over to Cachot's retirement and then maybe provide some marriage routes. Sorry, I've been playing a lot of Otome lately, so I'm all about putting a ring on it. Eventually, that is. Even the sister route. F it. Nekopara After has a story to tell, and it doesn't deviate from that story once. It's a game that gives players everything they asked for, but nothing else. It retains a quality of comedic scenarios and exceptionally sexy situations, but fails to do anything else with its 11-year history under its belt. I'd like to see more of the series, but in that same breath, I enjoyed the thought that companionship isn't a snap your fingers and drop your pants affair. There's a real emotional connection required to achieve that, and sometimes you have to have your sister in the room to make that connection flourish. And that's Nekopara After. Noisy Pixel is giving Nekopara After a 7 out of 10. Thanks for watching. This video is brought to you by our supporters on Patreon. Noisy Pixel is run by a group of gamers providing independent gaming coverage through news, reviews, previews, and more. Check out our Patreon to help support our continued growth, and subscribe to keep up with all our future content.
Noisy Pixel.